What's up, YouTube? Natsu of Team FTNatsu. We're back for another deck profile. So I got a lot of, at least the comments gave a lot of said that you guys kind of liked the way I did it the last time with the PowerPoint, and it also I also kind of like that better too. It's a little more effort on my end, but whatever. It looks a lot nicer in my opinion. So I'm gonna keep doing that for deck profiles. I'm probably gonna do deck profiles more often just because Ascriptmaster and I just don't write articles anymore. Just because it got kind of not as great or not as interesting for us, and this is a lot easier too. Or well, anyway, that's not the point. Because you can't tell by the grade zeros, this is going to be my, or by the title of this video, this is going to be my Overlord deck profile. Since I wanted to show off what I have at least now until I will change it once the Legend deck comes out, because that's going to be freaking awesome. Oh, I'm so happy. Because in real life, I have this deck. I don't have the Ace, though, because I'm a scrub. Because that card was $60 a pop. And I earned 4, so $240 just for the Ace. Heck no. Anyway, so this is my grade zero lineup. Their starter is Sad Egg, his skill is, he's, Forerunner and all that jazz. When an opponent's rear guard's retired through an effect, you can put him in Soul, and then they have to retire another rear guard. Most people, a lot of people like Red Pulse because you can add a Overlord to your hand. I don't like Red Pulse. Red Pulse has a chance of wasting your Counterblast. It uses up a Counterblast, and you can end up just negging from it. It's still a very valuable option, though. I can see why people run it, just because you can get grade 3s and get Strike Fodder, but I just prefer Sad Egg. And then also, the other reason why is because I run 4 Gatling Claw. Gatling Claw is hands down the best draw trigger in the game. No question. Oh my gosh. I rarely run draw triggers in decks. If you haven't noticed, I rarely do, but this is the one deck where, oh my gosh, yes. So Gatling Claw skill is Counterblast 1, put him in Soul, you just retire grade 0. Now, oh my gosh. So basically, you can just use it to retire any starters, any annoying starters. Oh my gosh, Zero hates Gatling Claw Dragon with a passion because I always retire Judge Vow with it. Oh my gosh, it's really, really good. It also makes Sad Egg go off, so if your opponent tries to rush you, Overlord can't really deal with early game rush, so this can at least help with that sometimes. It can help with that, and also you can get rid of annoying starters and things of the sort. They're earning 8 crit. You can roll whatever crits you want. These are the crits I like. I think they look the coolest. And then 4 heal because look at Agathia. She's second best heal next to what's her name? I forgot. The Liberator, the newer Liberator heal trigger. But yeah, so 8 crit, 4 heal, 4 draw, 1 Sad Egg. You can run 12 crit too. That's totally viable. One person I know runs 12 crit. But I like the retire from Gatling Claw. It's too useful in my opinion not to have. Then for my grade 1s, 4 Gojo. Gojo is also another card. Wow, a lot of Kagero cards actually have lasted throughout a lot of time. He is Vanguard or Rear Guard Circle. You rest him, you drop a card, and you draw a card. He's good because he lets you filter out through dead Gatling Claws in better dead Gatling Claws that you have. And also you can discard Overlords to get Burnout live as quickly as possible. Also, if you don't have the Great or the X in your hand, you can, try to get to it. I mean, writing the end isn't terrible, but I'd much rather be on the X or the Great. Then we run a 4 Stride Enabler. 4 Stride Enabler, it's pretty standard. Lets you stride easily. Oh, one other point about Gojo, he is a really good first turn ride too, because you can use this effect and you don't have to worry about anything because you can attack on the first turn. 4 Perfect RGs because this deck can counter the Ace and all the grade 3. Your Overlords take up a lot of Counterblasts. It adds up. And then 2 Calamity Tower Wyvern, Soul Blast 2, draw a card. It fills up your Soul fast for Legion, and it's just too useful. Then for our grade 2s, much bigger, less grade 2s, we have 4 Dragon and Burnout. When he is put on Rear Guard Circle, you take an Overlord from your drop zone, put it at the bottom of your deck, then you Soul Blast. And if you do, you can retire any of your opponent's rear guards. It's an instant plus -1 to your opponent, so it's useful not to have. You can just get rid of annoying things, Tidal Assaults, you can get rid of them, pretty nice. Then 4 Burning Horn Dragon. Burning Horn is a 12k attack for Overlord. Once the Legend deck comes out, I will be switching this out for Nahalem because the Nahalem's just better. For the new Nahalem, he's an 11k attack for Overlord, but when an Overlord attacks, he gets an extra 5k, so he gets pretty insane. And then 2 Nail Flame. Nail Flame skill is when he's placed on rear guard circle. He gets a skill for the turn, which is when an opponent's rear guard in the same column as the unit put into the drop zone. You can counterblast 1, and then anything, and then the unit in another unit in the same column as him gets retired. Note how it says put in the drop zone, so it's the same as Tonfa and things like that, where like if you hit a rear guard in the same column, like with your grade or whatever, you can still you can use Nail Flame's ability to retire the other one. Like that's still a thing you can do. I'm not sure a lot of people are aware of that, but he's good if he's not as good as he was because Odysseus got semi-limited, but he's still pretty good for getting rid of annoying grade 1s that you don't want to deal with, like Tonfas, and I forgot his name, but he's a brawler. He's like Tonfa, but you don't have to be in Legion, but it works only for brawlers, for things like that. If you want to burn out their front row, it's alright. Then for grade 3s, I run for the X. The X, his on Legion skill is he Legions with the End. He has the End's grade 3 Legion rival card. When you Legion, you can search your deck for either the X or the End and add it to your hand. And both of them are Persona Blast units, so basically you can have one of them online the second you Legion. And then when his attack doesn't hit, he doesn't have to be in Legion for this, by the way. You can just do it if you don't hit and you're not in Legion. You counterblast 1, discard a copy from your hand, and you kill 2 of your opponent's rear guards, which is very, very nice because it creates a lose-lose situation where if you hit, you can restand. If you don't hit, then you kill 2 rear guards. This deck tore up the meta until Diablo came out, really. Or no, not Lambros kind of came in and balanced a little bit, but like not somewhat. But the Overlord was still the best deck until people learned to actually play around it. Then we ran 3 the End. I only ran 3 the End because I feel like you're never going to get the End off more than twice a game. It's never going to happen. You'll never have it happen. And even then, getting it off twice a game is really rare too. So I only ran 3 because I feel like you only really need 3, 1 to Legion with, 1 to grab, and then if you draw into the other one, I mean, hey, you can do some dumb shenanigans there. His skill is, if you have a non-Kagero, Vanguard or Rearguard, he's 9k, but no one cares. You're pure Kagero. Clan fight exists. Your Juggernaut Overlord in your soul, he's a cross-ride, 13k base, but we don't run Juggernaut Overlord. There are some builds that run, it's called like the Kai build, where you have 3 the X, 3 the N, 2 the Great, and 2 Break Ride. So you can like be 24k, which creates for a 31k column with a 7k booster for interesting shenanigans. And then on hit, counterboss 2, discard a copy, you stand it, and because of Legion rulings of when your mate stands, the main unit stands with it, and vice versa. So basically you can stand your Legion unit, so you get another 22k attack, double twin drive, which is very, very nice. And then I run 2 the Great, so I run 9 grade 3s. He leads with Nail Flame. His skill is counterboss 1, discard 2. At the end of the battle, if it attacked a rear guard, if he's in Legion, you can stand him and your mate. You can stand him, so you can attack again. He's mainly there to Legion back cards if you need to go into if for some reason like you haven't killed your opponent yet. So you can keep Legioning back stuff. He's also an extra Overlord name for burnout, and he's not a bad ride though. He's also pretty good late game if your opponent has somehow lived through your aces, or if you can't use the ace, he's still a pretty good card to go into. Just like that way he can keep restanding and keep putting on pressure. Sadly though, he does not get an extra 2k when he attacks like other Legion units. That'd be kind of mean though, because you'd be attacking for 22k unboosted. His alternate skill is when you can choose something that has the same name as something in your Vanguard circle. So if you have 2 of the Greats and you have one and you're not in Legion and you have one on the field, you can only kill off the Great. But if you're in Legion, you can kill off Nail Flame too. You're never going to use this skill that much because you only have 2 of the Great. I only have 2 of the Great and 2 Nail Flame. but it happens. When he hits, you can choose one of your opponent's rear guards and tire it. So it just, you can kill annoying back row things, but like I said, you're probably never going to use the skill. And then for our G zone, we have for the ace, his skill is Counterblast 2, Persona Flip, and then if you have 2 face-up cards in your G zone after that, he loses 1 drive check, but at the end of the turn that he attacked the Vanguard, you can discard any card in your hand and discard a card with Overlord in its name from your hand, and then stand it, and then he gets an extra 5k power. So he's an insured restand. He's very, very strong because the second attack is going to be at minimum 31k, on top of the fact that you're going to probably get if you get triggers, then you're going to be able to increase his power even more. He's a really, really good finisher. A lot of people run 3. I run 4. And it's kind of funny that I run 4 because a lot of people will think, oh, I got through the 8th turn. I'm like, nope, I have another one. And then they're like, oh, man. So he's really, really strong. And then I run 2 Mustafa. You can, there's another card, I forgot his name, but I know he's the other, like, first stride, quote-unquote, for Kagero, where he's on hit, you kill something. I prefer Mustafa, who is Counterboss 1, turn of, choose a, and you not, what are we going to call this? G-flip, because you don't have to flip Mustafa. You kill one of your opponent's rear guards, and then for each face-up Mustafa in your G-zone, you can give any of your units a skill on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle. When it hits, you unflip. So, I prefer him because he's an insured hit. He's an insured kill, so I don't have to worry about my opponent perfect guarding my attack. I mean, they can perfect guard and I won't get the unflip, but I don't really care. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I have perfect RGs, and the ace only takes up 4 counterblasts if I use both of them. So, you can run the on-hit one. I just prefer this one because I can ensure I get that kill. Because if there's something I want to kill that I want off the field, I want to make sure I get it off the field no matter what. He also lets side-eye combo off if you don't get your Gatling Claw. Usually the only bad thing about that is they'll always pick their starter if you haven't killed it off with Gatling Claw for the most part. Just because that's usually the weaker unit. But I mean, hey, you're getting the starter at least, which can help against things like Dodge Bow. And then we run 2 Root Flare Dragon. I don't know why he's not a Paradition, to be honest, because his why Root Flare is not a Paradition, just because of his effect. Persona Flip. Choose if you have 2 or more face-up cards in your G zone after you Persona Flip, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire all of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as that unit, and it's a once per turn ability. This ability is really, really handy too because if your opponent has something with resist, that's really, really, really annoying. I'm trying to think of a good example. Aquaforce has, I think I never name either. But if you're playing against Stavas, they have that grade 1 that it has resist, and if it's third attack or more, you can count when it attacks, it's 12k attacker, and you draw a card. Or something like that. But basically, you can kill off resist units, because how the ruling works is, resist, to go back to Yu-Gi-Oh!, that's like kind of like the best way I can think about it, or the best way to explain it. Resist essentially is, oh, I can't be targeted. But this effect doesn't target, because it just... Because you're targeting the column, you're not targeting the actual card. So that's the best way to explain it. So you can just target like the unit in front of it, you know, behind it, and then like it's still you're targeting the column. But yeah, so that's a deck. This deck's really, really strong. It puts a lot of Vanguard pressure on your opponent. It can things that this deck's really, really good against are things like Link Joker, because Link Joker makes you can't use your rear guards, but as I've said many times before, Overlord kind of cares, but not really. Like, your Vanguard should be having so much on hit, or like so much pressure from your Vanguard that your opponent's going to be using most of their guard on that, and the rear guards are just kind of there to help further push out guard from your opponent, and like to sort of complement the Vanguard by like retiring units and things like that. So decks like that really. So decks like Link Joker, trying to disturb your field, this deck doesn't have that much of a hard time against. Or even things like Narukami even too. I was playing against Narukami last night with this deck, and my opponent, like, his deck could do stuff, but his deck wasn't really that effective against this deck simply because, like, I don't care about my rear cards. my Vanguard's high pressure enough anyway. Although Narukami's kind of the same, but not really. It depends on your build. Ways to beat this deck. Ways to beat this deck would be if you're facing this deck, this build at least loses to the grade 2 game really bad. Unless you have the end, and then they happen to draw like to the end, then they can just the end pressure you. But even then, that's kind of unlikely for them to. They have to draw into both of them. And so if you want to like beat this deck, grade 2 game is the one way to do it. But yeah, that's my deck. I probably will post a couple more games with this deck, at least until we get the new Overlord stuff in Cardfight Area. I don't know when that will be though, but we'll see. So yeah, this has been Natsu /Cube of Team Fairy Tail, signing out.